So, Kristy Wallace is a player that has left the Indiana Fever, and I got to talk about this in a video because it's just madness. It is madness. And by the way, like I would always put this down as just Twitter talk, except for the fact that this is coming from some people who I've seen I've seen in the past, maybe not recently, being given media credentials in the WNBA and be pushed by the league itself, or be good friends with the person who has an apostrophe after the first letter of their name. And it's the weirdest, and it's one thing saying this as an initial reaction when there might be some naivety there, but it's another thing to continue to push this narrative, and it's disgusting. And again, if it's an initial reaction, completely understandable, but pushing this narrative, continuing to do it when we know the truth is horrible. So Kristy Wallace, and the reason she wasn't playing the off season, and obviously from what I've read, that she's focusing on kind of life outside basketball, like life after basketball. And it's looking like, as far as Kristy Wallace is concerned, that going back to WNBA wasn't, even prior to the situation, the biggest priority. I don't know what's going on in her life. Hopefully she's okay. And obviously my condolences to Kristy Wallace after what happened. And then a couple of days ago, her stepmom passed away. And that's probably was the final thing that made her 100%, but I 100% not play this season. And I think that with Kristy Wallace, it was probably, even before that happened, it was probably touch or go whether she's going to play, because you do forget with these players is that some of them just don't, sometimes the off season is where they really make, this is what the thing is, you play in the WNBA for lack of a better word, for ego reasons, because it's the best league in the world and you want to play against the best in the world, and the better you play in the WNBA, the better contract you're going to get overseas. So she's somebody who did not play this season. She played in the NBL for Melbourne Boomers for a couple of years. She would go back and play in Australia every year, which is fine. That's where she played her overseas basketball. She's Australian. Most of them would. I mean, Alana Smith played in China, but there's a lot more money in China. But she went and played in Australia, and this year she just didn't play. So the thing is with those leagues, you're on, say, 80K for those 3 months in the WNBA, and I don't know how much money Kristy Wallace would be on Australia. It's probably not anything crazy. And then you're looking at it from the WNBA perspective. She probably doesn't have that long left in her career. She's probably going to go to Australia now, and if she did stop in the WNBA, she goes back to Australia and make a little bit of money, and you're making more money outside of basketball. These players are probably making 150K, and not saying you're guaranteed. 150K is unbelievable money, but 150K when your career is going to last maybe 4 more years versus trying to start, versus delaying working your way up the ladder by 4 or 5 more years, more than she already has. And while she might be making a bit more money in the meantime, long term, it might set her back starting in the workforce or doing what she's doing in her 30s. She's my age. I'm now at the stage where I'm 28. I think she's old. She might be older than me, but yeah, it is one of those things where with Kristy Wallace is that basketball, first of all, I hope she's okay, but there are reasons why she would have stepped away, even if it wasn't for her stepmother passing away. But obviously that seems to be the final thing that made her decide. Because look, she wasn't playing basketball in the off season, and seeing the narrative being pushed online that by just bad people, that the league have been trying to rig it for Indiana by getting off Kristy Wallace's contract, that Kathy Engelbert demanded Kristy Wallace back out of the team, and they're wanting basically wanting an investigation being done on the Fever for Kristy Wallace leaving. And like calling Christy Wallace every name under the sun. And like, it's one thing again if there are initial reactions to that. Like, a lot of people, probably Fever fans, it's probably a celebratory like reaction to this. Like, and from a pure basketball point of view, sure. Like, I get that. I absolutely get that. And obviously initial reactions are initial reactions. Anyone today saying that crap is like, you're like, whatever, talking about the basketball, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is that, like, she's okay, because basketball is only such a small part of life in general. But still seeing these people, and like, they are some, like, these are like, they're genuinely, you see it. And it's the worst part about this is that, like, these are Twitter trolls. That Twitter trolls always exist. They don't go away. And it's like, the Twitter trolls that are actually being pushed by the damn league itself. Like, some of them are genuinely, or like, some of them like have spaces and league players are in them. And I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? And like, I'm not saying that any league player has been involved in the Christy Wallace situation, but I mean, like, there are, like, the league itself, coaches, players, some players are pushing genuine, like, people that push horrendous narratives towards all these players. And it's like, it's just bad. It's just mad looking at it just from a, like, morality point of view. And like, even when I made my video on the Christy Wallace leaving, like, I focused mostly on basketball, but like obviously she was leaving for personal reasons. And whenever you see that, you're just like, hopefully she's okay. That's kind of, before everything, it's like, hopefully she's okay. And even when you kind of see, it doesn't matter normally whether you like someone or not. Like, if somebody's leaving for personal reasons, you hope, even if you hate someone, you hope they're okay. Like, but yeah, it's a mad one. It's a mad one, because at the end of the day, like, even if you don't look at these people as people and just as basketball players, like, it's still hard to come to some of the conclusions that these people are coming to. And like, it's just no shame in it. And it's just, I don't know. It's a mad one. And it's one thing if these are Twitter trolls. These are like real people that are interacting with players on a daily basis, that are interacting with coaches, whether it be in college or like the pros on a daily basis. And it's just, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, the only thing, like, whatever about an initial reaction being your initial reaction, a tweet being a tweet, but it's like, man, like, once you can no longer use naivety as an excuse, and you're still going with the narrative, dear Lord, it's a bad look. But at the end of the day, everything from a lot of stuff is a bad look for this damn league. But anyway, I'll see you guys.